Action, action, we want action. ACT, ION. Action, LPB, we want action. Come on, LPB, we want some action. Hi, this is John Pauls. It's Saturday and I'm in the park, rooting on the Life's Potluck Buffet Dutch ovens in this great game. And I can't wait to talk to you about card number 35. Card number 35 has two simple words. Actions speak. Let me read you the card. Find something that you claim about yourself or your work, but never back up with action. ACT. ION. Be honest with yourself. What is preventing you from acting? Is it that you do not wish to pursue those actions, or is it because you do not understand how to act? If the latter, just jump in and do something right now, however little to start. What are you going to do? Did anything come to mind? If so, let me know. Pop it in the comments. On this card, I say actions speak and not the old proverb, actions speak louder than words. Why is that? Well, I didn't want to even mention words. I wanted to eliminate words even in the title of this, because that's how serious this card is about action. Once you start backing up every word you say with action, things change. And that's because you now are holding yourself accountable and responsible for things that you say, which means that you can't have throwaway statements. You can't claim to be doing something or that you're going to do something and then not do it. This is all about our own self-awareness, because everybody else already knows, right? You know, if you don't back up your actions with, you can't fool anybody. We're only fooling ourselves. This is, you know, if we've learned anything with the 55 cards of Life's Potluck Buffet, it's that we can only fool ourselves. Fooling others and deceiving others is infinitely harder than deceiving ourselves. Let me say that again. Deceiving others is infinitely harder than deceiving ourselves. So, with that in mind, we can embrace this self-knowledge and awareness without the worry that we usually have in terms of what others think and all of those things. And I really like the fact that the cards focus on that the cards focus on self-awareness and the empowerment that brings, and completely understand the fact of the matter. Make no bones about it, that fooling other people into thinking that you back up your claims with actions when you're not doing that is impossible. And then you have to think, well, okay, I'm just fooling myself. Why am I fooling myself? What preciously held claim am I making? What's so important about this claim that I'm making that I need to believe that I am somehow fooling other people into thinking this? What's so important about that claim that I'm making? These cards and the ideas in them keep us honest. And they keep us honest with ourselves, which is the most important part. Because if we can't be honest with ourselves, how are we going to be honest with anybody else? That sounded a little bit like a philosophy I know from Professor RuPaul, and Professor RuPaul is wise. There are two options on this card for why we're not doing these actions. The first option is that you don't want to do the action. So you're just saying, oh, I'll do this thing, and you don't mean it. And when we do that, that's what I was just talking about. We're just deceiving ourselves. We're not deceiving anybody else. We know how that ends. It ends badly for us and badly for others, because we're not harming anybody else. We're just harming ourselves, because that person that you said you would do that thing just won't trust you anymore, no matter how many excuses we make. So is it because you do not understand how to act? Now, this is a slightly different story. So the second case, where we don't follow up our words with actions, is not a case of self-deception, but rather it's a case of fear and inability to act. And we want to do something, we mean it, and we're not trying to fool ourselves or anybody else. So what do? You take the first step, any step. And that's important to realize. The way to get over hesitancy is to jump in and do something right away. So let's say you're starting a business and you say, I'm going to start a business, but you don't know the first thing about starting a business. Start by thinking about one simple thing. And that small action will get you going. You know from all the other cards in Life's Potluck Buffet that we have ways of acting that are authentically the way that we act. And we know what that is. And when we get in touch with that, we know that when I'm starting this business, the first thing I need to know is blank. The first action I need to take is really this. And by compartmentalizing it into one small step and one small action, and that's why it's important to have one small action, and that's what the card is talking about, to jump in and doing one small thing. It's like the card about cleaning pots, where we wanted to remove junk from our Dutch oven that's baked on. And we start with one small spot. We can't clean the whole thing at once, all at once. We always start with one small space, and that gets our cleaning going. So the same thing is true when you're talking about these actions that we're taking. If you're really in that kind of spot and you mean what you say, then get in touch with the one small action you need to take. This often comes automatically, where we know the type of thing that we do to start and embrace that. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't need to be what everybody else says, oh, this is how you start X or Y. This is how you start a business. Step one. Every single person who starts a business has a different first step to starting that business, because every single person and groups of persons are different and have different cultures, have different ways of being that require a different first step. And it is authentically your own first step. All of the other steps will have to fall into place. But starting at any point is a way to get over that hump and have your actions do the talking. So today, take the Card 35 challenge. Think of just one claim that you have been making that you haven't turned into action. One thing that you've been saying, maybe repeating over and over again, that you're going to do, but you just haven't got around to it. Determine whether or not you actually want to do what you're saying. If you do want to do what you are claiming you want to do, then today, do one small thing to get the ball rolling. However small it is, do the first thing that comes to mind, no matter how unrelated to the final goal of your project it seems. You've taken the first step to making what you say what you do. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like, subscribe, and head to lifespotluck.com to learn more about Life's Potluck Buffet. All right, Dutch ovens, let's go. Let's win this.